C-Bus.
Hi, I'm Gary from Multrite. Going to walk you through a project and we'll look at this in phases. So today I'm out here at a new build house and we're going to install the landscape over the next couple days. So I'm going to show you how we're going to go about it. And this is the, I've done the design work for the project and I've got some measurements and things like that on paper. And what we're going to do is we are going to take a look at these beds that I've outlined with all the measurements. We sort of have our layout on paper like this. And I'm going to convert that layout on the paper today into a practical application, and I'm going to basically paint the bed lines. That way we can start constructing the beds tomorrow. So all I'm going to use for this is basically some marking paint. I've got a couple different colors. I will start marking with green paint, and then as I get my marks finalized, I'll move over to the white paint for my final marks. And that way, my green paint's sort of my sketch, and my white paint will sort of be my final. That way we know where to build the beds. Then I got my paint wand, my measuring wheel, and of course my tape measure. I've got a mason line, some wooden stakes, and a hammer. And we're going to go ahead and just attack this with based on the drawing, and we're going to put this thing together. So let's get started. So spent a couple hours out here measuring, marking, just using a string line, tape measure, and a measuring wheel. As you can kind of see, we've reworked the walkway. Customer, when they built this house, they didn't know about putting concrete or pavers in, so they just put gravel down. Roughly tried to follow the design. As you can see, after I've measured, the walkway's off a little bit. Now you can see as we come through here, we've painted where the new walkway will be. That's pretty close actually. They got that really close. They sort of missed the entrance a little bit, so we repainted that and remeasured. Then we're going to have beds over this way. Eventually on the corner there's going to be a retaining wall that wraps around. And you can see I've staked out the tree spot so that as we build the beds with topsoil, we don't lose that center mark to where we're going to put a river birch on the corner. So we don't want to lose the spot where the tree is going to be in the center corner. So I went ahead and marked that with a stake. That way as we build the beds, we can build it up around it. Now, since this is new grass, basically we installed this lawn last fall, so it's coming in pretty well. You can kind of see. We did all the turf work last fall, installed the grass. It's just starting to come in. He just mowed it for the first time last week. So tomorrow we're going to start building these beds, and we're basically going to, since we're building the beds up really high, we're going to build these beds up 6-8 inches with topsoil, all the beds that we've painted. We are just going to simply spray the grass with Roundup, anything that's going to be buried underneath the beds. The soil here is just an old farm field, a lot of clay, so I want to make sure we get some good soil to plant in. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to hit the grass with with weed eater, just spray it with some Roundup, and then we'll start on the bed construction. So tune in next time for the next video series of how we're going to shape the beds, and we'll go from there. Good luck measuring and setting yours up. This part is really important because you want to make sure you get everything just right, especially in this situation. The customer is doing hardscaping later on, so we're putting the beds in, but we're basing it on a walkway of pavers, most likely, that's going to happen a year or 2 years down the road. So we want to make sure we get the beds right. That way when the retaining wall and the paver and the steps come in, everything is just right. So hopefully that's helped you. Make sure you're careful, take your time and measure.